We're going to get the program started tonight. I want to thank all of you guys for coming tonight. I know there's a number of parents, most importantly our student athletes, our coaches, our teachers. Thank you all for being here tonight. It should be a special night. So with that, I want to go ahead and get things started right out of the gate here. I know most of you, a lot of you have eaten, but I want to open this up with a quick invocation from our pastor, Dr. Wade Humphreys from the First Baptist Church of Fort Walton Beach. So Dr. Humphreys, if you come up and open us up.
Let's pray. Father in heaven, this is the day that you have made, and we rejoice and we're glad in it. Lord, we're grateful for this opportunity to gather together as a community, Lord, to celebrate what you are doing in this community and in the lives of young people. And we just pray your hand of blessing would rest upon us tonight. Lord, we consider every young person to be a stewardship. Lord, I'm grateful for folks in different ways, different avenues, Lord, providing resources to encourage our young people towards achievement and towards excellence and towards moral improvement. And so, Lord, we are grateful for all the ways that you are at work and all the people that you are using in that way. We pray your blessing upon this evening, Lord, for every speaker. Lord, I pray that you would just give them grace to encourage and to challenge and to inspire. And we'll thank you for that. Thank you for this food you provide for us and all of the blessings that we enjoy living in this land. And we ask and pray all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right. My name is Lee Lewis, and I get the honor and privilege of serving as the All Sports Association 50th year president. So it was a pretty much a lucky draw for me, I suppose. I always like this event, and part of the reason is that we don't wear ties at this event, thank goodness. So this is always one of my favorites. How many students are here tonight? Raise your hand if you're a high school student or a middle school student here. So most of the crowd, okay, and that's what this is all about tonight. I want to tell all of you that just share with your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. I know tonight is Valentine's night. Blame me. Just go ahead and blame me when you get back. That'll work. I know my wife's over. I lost her somewhere. My wife's in here somewhere, but thank you, Lisa. So this is our 50th anniversary week, and I want to tell you just real quick, our All Sports Association, most of you know what we're about. Our group, we have 100 active members and our past presidents, and we work hard all year long to support youth in our community. And we do that in a number of different ways. The whole year kind of culminates in this week. We have some big events this week, and this is one of them. I think this is most significant because we are about the kids, about serving the kids and serving the programs that help our kids get to the next level and succeed in life. So with that, this is one of my favorite events that we put on. And again, I thank all the students for making the effort to get out here tonight and all the coaches and teachers for their work in raising such a great crop of kids that we have come out of this community. With that said, I want to tell you that a couple things we've done this year is we've, just to kind of give you an idea, we will provide some funds for some of the major programs in our area tomorrow night. That includes the Boys and Girls Club. Shervin's here, and I know some of the kids are. The Special Olympics of Okaloosa County, the FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Okaloosa and Walton County, as well as the Eleanor Johnson Youth Center. So those are our big four, but we also do a number of other things in the community that you should be aware of. Just this past year, we made donations to help buy sailboats for kids programs at the Emerald Coast Sailing Association. So if you have some kids interested, get in touch with them there. We have made contributions to help the Northwest Florida State College put in a public batting facility, indoor batting facility, that obviously will benefit their program, but also be open to the public, so the kids can use that as well. We put lights in at the Mullet Festival site in Niceville recently to open up those fields at night so they had more time to practice and play their games. One of the things I'm most proud of was just our recent contribution to Bay County. All of you know what happened with Hurricane Michael coming through, wiped out the high school programs for a lot of schools. Their football seasons ended prematurely. Their basketball seasons did not occur. Our guys got together, came up with an idea that we would put our efforts forth and put some help Bay County get back on their feet. So we helped out with some contributions to 5 different high schools towards their baseball and softball programs. And I want to thank Terry Pilcher, one of our members, for spearheading that. It was a big blessing for those guys to have not only us, but a lot of other community partners step forward and save their baseball and softball seasons this year. So, but tonight we're here for one purpose, and that is really to, I say a couple purposes. Our main purpose for sure is to recognize the kids. I'm going to introduce Bernard in a moment. He's going to take a few minutes to do just that. But we want to just understand that this is what we want to communicate and convey that that's what this is, our whole program's about, is what you kids are doing. I'm constantly amazed. I meet a lot of you guys, and I hope I grow up to be like you seniors someday, because you guys are off the chart. So with that, I want to thank you for being here tonight. I want to thank God for the incredible blessings that He's given all of us. You know, I'm really proud of our like I said, our teachers, our parents, our coaching staffs, and on and on. But I think the parents and just our community in general, I think God has really blessed us with a community that we live in. And you seniors, as you move on to other places and you go to college, just understand that the values that you've learned here in Northwest Florida, keep those with you as you move on, because you're not going to find, there's a lot of noise out there in the world, and I think we live in a place that, there's no place like the place we live, and I just want you to take that with you. Don't forget that when you leave. So with that, it's going to be my pleasure here to introduce the past president of all sports. He had a great year last year, and I want to bring him up here to spend a little time just recognizing some of our local student athletes and their accomplishments. Bernard, you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bernard Johnson, our past president.
How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody doing all right? All right. Well, glad everybody's here. Lee, congratulations to you. Great job. We're looking for a big year. We had a great day yesterday with our Hall of Fame inductees. How many's heard of Roy Jones? Everybody heard of Roy Jones? Okay, the boxer. We inducted him yesterday. And Dr. Jolynn. She's a gynecologist. She came out of, was it Fort Walton? What high school she come out of? There you go. I want to make sure y'all listening. I want to make sure you're listening. Let me tell you something. Cindy Gates back there, she doesn't miss a beat. That's exactly why I did that, just make sure she was listening. So yeah, Dr. Jolynn, she was with us yesterday as well, and we had a great time inducting him to the All Sports Association Hall of Fame. So thanks for everybody that's being here on this evening to celebrate this night with us, to recognize the high school athletes. You guys work hard. It's a lot of hard practices. I know basketball, you do a lot of suicides. I know with football, you do a lot of burpees, and volleyball, y'all do whatever y'all do. But I know it's got to be a work in progress for sure. But I want to recognize a couple people to begin with. Where's Mr. Marcus Chambers? Where you at, Marcus? There he is. All right, so new superintendent of schools, so we appreciate Marcus being here. He knows the importance of being a part of what the kids do and what they do going forward and making sure that he's part of their success. I'd like to also recognize Mr. Mike Mosley from Rocky Bayou. So Mike, if you would stand up, there he is. Where's Brian Humphreys at? Where you at, Brian? There you are. Okay, so Brian is, you want to stand up for a second, Brian? So Brian is the one that the athletic directors kind of report to. So we appreciate Brian being here as well. So this is a big effort. You know, Brad Cobble is right over here in the green shirt. So we have what we call sports information directors. They are the liaison between the high school and the All Sports Association. So we as an association care what happens in the high schools. You know, we want to make sure that, you know, we are all sports, number one. Number two, boys play sports, girls play sports, right? So we need to make sure that we're recognized in everything that you guys do athletically. You know, we have this program here to recognize those that are receiving Division I, Division II, Division III scholarships, those that are Player of the Year award recipients, those that were our All Sports Association male and female scholastic, and those that win the award, as well as those that were nominees from the schools, as well as the Taylor Haugen trophy as well. Where's Brian and Kathy Haugen? There they are. So that's Brian and Kathy Haugen right there. And that Taylor Haugen trophy is a big deal. I mean, it is a big, big deal. So we want to definitely, that's going to be part of our All Sports Association FCA event. So that'll be tomorrow morning. So y'all come out there and check that out and have a good time with that. Okay, so getting started. With that being said, we have a number of schools here that Brad leads up the effort and works with Brian and the athletic directors to come up with a list of names of those kids that I just received in those categories. So we're going to do this alphabetically. And Baker High School. Any Baker Gators here? All righty, got a contingency of them. How about if you would just stand up, because we have this so that these athletes, student athletes, remember you got to be a student first, then an athlete, right? So that these student athletes can be recognized in front of their peers. So with that being said, is Miss Shelby Sloan here? All right, Shelby. Shelby plays softball. She's going to South Alabama, and she's going to major in speech pathology. So if you would, you can bring stand. That way you have to stand by yourself. I'm about to give you some help here in a minute. How about Olivia Hurley? Olivia, you here? There's Olivia. So if y'all want to wait to the end to where they're all standing, there's going to be one more that we're going to announce, and we can do them all at one time and keep it moving there. But Olivia played volleyball, weightlifting, and track. She's our Taylor Haugen Award nominee. And she's also tomorrow's FCA speaker, so y'all hear her again tomorrow. University of North Florida is where she's going to attend, and she's going to major in pre-med. All righty. Kenny Williams. There's Kenny right over there. All right, Northwest Florida Defensive Player of the Year for small schools. There he is. So Tallahassee Community College, he's going to be he's going to major in pharmaceuticals. So congratulations to the Baker Gators. I heard there were Crestview Bulldogs in here, but I don't know if that's true or not. Are they here? Where's Coach Hatton? Where you at, Coach? There you are. All right, so we're going to do the Crestview Bulldogs. Coach Grant, you here as well? I think Coach Grant is here? All right. We've got something to talk about Coach Grant. So with that being said, Tarian Mays, football, University of Central Arkansas. John Michael Gills, baseball, Northwest Florida. Weston 2 played football and wrestling. He's our Taylor Haugen Trophy nominee. All right, so let's give a hand for the Crestview Bulldogs. Thanks, guys. All right. What comes after Crestview? Choctaw, right? Actually, Choctaw should have come before Crestview if you know anything about school. That's all good. All right, Choctaw Engines, let's go. All right, Coach Thomas, you here? All right, there you are, Coach. Okay, we got Coach Ken Burnett, Bob Bennett, Chris Nemeth, and Andy Smith. All the coaches here? Okay. All right, so we're going to recognize these athletes from Choctaw High School. Surprised Cindy hadn't got on me about something yet. All right, Josh Williams. Let's go, Josh. Basketball. Josh is still undecided where he wants to go. Got Deontay Smith, basketball. Texas Christian. TCU Horned Frog right over there. We got Brady Peters, football, baseball, MVP, offense, East All-Stars as well, UWF. How about it, Brady? There's Brady, okay. Johnny Holguin, football. Okay, he got the Coaches Award, Scholastic. He's got the All Sports Association Male Scholastic Award winner right here in front of you, John Holguin. Going to University of Florida. We got Peyton Coots. Where's Peyton at? Peyton here? All right. Softball. She's the Scholastic Female All Sports Association nominee. West Alabama. Allison Creek. Where's Allison here? Okay. Softball as well. She's going to West Point. All right. Oh, okay. We see you. All right. Kristen Calderwood, softball. Where you at, Kristen? There you are. Okay. Going to Lurleen B. Wallace. We have Sage McKenna, basketball. Where you at, Sage? There he is. Superstar transferring to Choctaw's program. Had a great year as well. Thanks for being here, Sage. And Eve Hale, where's Eve? There's Eve. Okay. She played golf, so hey, golf is a sport as well, right? All sports. All right, Choctaw. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. All right. Fort Walton Beach, what comes after C? F. Hooked on phonics pays off, I'm telling y'all. Little Rosetta Stone don't hurt every now and then either. Okay, Fort Walton Beach Vikings. We got John Spolsky, so he wasn't able to make it, but Coach Phil Dorn, where you at? There you are. How about it, Coach? Okay, so we got Katie Ballant, swimming. She's the All Sports Association Scholastic female nominee. She's going to West Florida. Brianna Dufault, volleyball, LaGrange College. Congratulations, Brianna. Maria Santos, volleyball. Still undecided, but she's here as well. We have Carson Barrett, baseball. Undecided, but Carson's here. All right, let's give the Fort Walton Beach Vikings a round of applause. All right, now it's time to get to them Niceville Eagles. All right, Adrian, where you at, Coach? There you are. Okay, Adrian, so he's got football, so he's got a couple of his kids here as well. We got Ryan Sabin, Robin here, okay, good deal. Ryan Giordano, where's Ryan at? There she is, okay. Connor Waite, no, Connor Walsh, where's Connor? Connor's here? There's Connor, okay, how you doing, Connor? Okay, and Hannah Sorensen, soccer. We also have with us here, these are two personal friends of ours that hang out at the house and eat up all my food. So one of them is Miss Sydney Green. Where's Sydney at? There she is. But she don't eat nearly as much as Max Wernicke. Where you at, Max? Stand up. There he is. So they hang out at the house. So that's Niceville Eagles. Appreciate you guys being here. All right. We have two more schools here. And we got the South Walton Seahawks that are here. All right, how about them Seahawks? All right, so Coach Phil Tisa, where you at, Coach? There you are. Okay, Miss India Stinson here as well. How you doing, Miss India? Okay, so the students here from South Walton are Gage Peden football, going to Culver Stockton. How about it, Gage? We have Jake Peden with golf. He's going to Evangel. That's a great school, by the way. Then we have Maddie Davin, volleyball. She's an all-sports scholastic female nominee, going to FAU. Maddie here? There we are. Okay, good hand for the Seahawks from South Walton. Thank you, guys. All right, the Rocky Bayou Knights. We're gonna close this out. Here we go. All righty. And I'm assuming that this is, y'all got a pretty strong contingent here. So we recognize Mr. Mike Mosley and his lovely wife, Miss Julie. So glad you guys are here. We have our Taylor Haugen Trophy winner here tonight, folks. And I'm gonna say her last just because I said it first. Okay, so we got Nick Bowers, football, weightlifting, Mississippi College. Where you at, Nick? Okay. Another good friend of ours, Miss Madison Stubblefield. Where's Madison at? Madison used to play ball against my boys and used to give them fits. Played basketball. She was tough competitor. She's going to FAMU. Miss Kara Lawson, soccer, team captain. Where you at, Kara? Still undecided. Frank Tiller, football track. Where's Frank at? So this kid here, when I was coaching, he was probably, I guess, I don't know, 6 years old, 7 years old. This kid showed up in an Under Armour shirt, just ready. I mean, he come out there just going back and forth with a basketball, just saying, listen, coach, I'm waiting on you. It's go time. Let's go. So outstanding young man, Frank Tiller. Carter Easton, soccer, weightlifting. Where you at, Carter? All righty. Got Romney Wilner, volleyball, softball. You hear Romney? She brought her own fan club as well. All right, then we have Dylan Rodriguez, football. Then we have Chelsea, is that pronounced that right? Chessida Turner? Okay, Chessida, I'm sorry, Chessida. Okay, Chessida Turner, volleyball and basketball. And let's give a big round of applause for Miss Lydia Turner, the Taylor Haugen Trophy winner. All righty. All right, good job, Rocky, good job. Well, this was fun for us, and so, next year, we're trying to amp it up, get kids to wear their school colors, their school shirts, and all those good things, recognize and ID who you are, and stick with your schools. And y'all, of course, you're seniors, you're moving on, so we wish you all the best into the future. Make good decisions, make responsible decisions, take care of yourselves. We believe that the future is bright for you. So the All Sports Association, we want to support you in every manner in that capacity. So your parents are here, they're right there with you on the grind. And listen, I mean, you got a bright future, so keep on working hard. All righty? Thank you much. Enjoy the rest of the program.
All right, at this point, I just want to share a little thing where a couple guys from our association had a chance to meet with some of the high school coaches and such, and just kind of go over some things that we're doing and how we can find ways we could help them, et cetera. So one of the things that came out of that was an interesting comment. One of the coaches told us that, a lot of these head coaches, and I know some of you guys can attest to this, that you get a lot more media coverage than sometimes you want. So, but they said some of the assistant coaches will work for sometimes decades on a staff and get absolutely no recognition for what they do, or very, very little. With that, we came back and made a decision as a group that maybe it was time here tonight. And so tonight, what we're going to do tonight was something we started this back in the fall and did. We went out and got some nominations from the schools, the various schools around here, and went back and as we went through the process, we identified one individual this year who will serve as our inaugural assistant coach of the year, something that we decided it was time to do. And we're going to try to make this a tradition, and a tradition we keep for years to come. So I want to first tell you our winner this year is a member of Woodland Baptist Church in Crestview. He played for Crestview High School back in his playing days. He started his coaching career as a freshman. He was an offensive coordinator with Crestview on the freshman team up there at the high school. The team went undefeated. Kind of tells you something right there, does it not? So then he was working with, when he was working with Coach Brunson, they transferred to Baker, and he worked with Coach Brunson up at Baker for a year. And for the last 12 years, he's come back to his alma mater at Crestview High School, and he spent the last 9 years coaching the offensive line up there. Let me tell you, Crestview, they've won, is it 3? I've got 3 straight district titles. Three straight district titles. Appearance in the Final Four, in the state of Florida. Of the 5 starters on the offensive line, 4 are going on to Division I college football. Think about that for a second. I know you also support the weightlifting team there. Coach shared recently, quote, coaching football is my passion. My wife Melissa, our son Tripp, and our daughter Kellyanna share the excitement of each season with me. I truly believe my commitment as a man of God, husband, and father has strengthened me as a coach and a mentor. Unquote. Crestview head coach Tim Hatton also stated, Coach Grant has been the best assistant coach that has worked with me in 31 years of coaching. He will make an excellent head coach, quote unquote. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in congratulating our initial 2009 All Sports Assistant Coach of the Year, Mr. Tom Grant, coach of Crestview High School offensive line. Come on up here, Tom. Come on. Come on around. I want to bring you up here real quick. David, where are you? Come on. We got a little something we'd like to present to you. And again, this is a tradition we'd like to plan to keep here. And so for all you high school coaches out there, keep this in mind as we approach your schools next year and get in your best candidates. We're going to look at all sports, okay? Not just football, but we're looking at assistant coaches at all sports at all schools. Coach? Dave, get over here.
First, I would like to thank the association for the award. I know when he first called and told me, I had to make sure and ask that I wasn't the only person nominated for the award. So, and he assured me that I wasn't, so I felt a little bit better about it. But again, thank you to the association. I want to thank my wife and kids, and I want to thank Coach Hatton and all the players, because without the players, I wouldn't have this award right now. So thank you to all those people. Thanks for everybody being here.
Thank you, Coach. You're an inspiration. And Coach Hatton, thanks for your help with that as well. I appreciate it. All right, we're going to move on to sort of the feature of our program tonight. We have 2 great guests with us that I can't wait to hear, and I know you can't either. But I want to tell you that you guys all know our community puts out an incredible number of just top athletes. It just amazes me. Per capita, I can't think there's any other place that's very few that are competing with us. And I'd like to think our first speaker is a bit of an anomaly. She's quite an athlete, to be sure, and she might even be the nicest person I've ever met. But how does a kid growing up in Crestview become one of the top ice speed skaters in the world? I don't understand how that works, but she's going to explain that in just a second. So I want to give you just a quick introduction. She started racing when she was 8 by inline skating up in Crestview with her family. She went to camp, Salt Lake City, moved out there, convinced your family to move out there, if I understand. She was incredibly successful, but she took a 5-year break in 2011 and started competitive cycling. So wanted to give that a shot. So back in 2015, the winter of 2015, she said it was time to get back into the ice skating rink and skate again. She's not looked back. She competed in her first speed skate event in 6 years at the U.S. National Championships in Milwaukee, earning a national champion title at the 3,000 meters. It just blows my mind. She continued to earn many gold and silvers at the Long Track U.S. Nationals and the Fall Cup trials, which enabled her to compete in the 2018 Olympic speed skating trials. You were tenths of a second away, just tenths of a second away from an Olympic berth in her first 2 events, and it was her 3rd event in the 1,500 meters, which she qualified to compete in the 2018 Winter Olympics in South Korea. Well, NBC Sports quoted her after that, saying, she said, quote, "I was pretty much tearing up when I was going to the line, knowing that if I just went out and skated the best I could to my potential, that I would make it. Luckily that day came that I finally could be an Olympian." So almost 1 year ago today, it was February 21st, 1 year ago today, next Friday, she joined her teammates, Brittany Bowe, Caroline Schaltens, and a world record holder, Heather Bergsma, in the 1,500 women's team pursuit, and they beat Canada by less than half a second to earn a bronze for the USA, the first by a women's speed skating team in 16 years of competing. So we got a video we want to roll. RJ, you ready?
Mia Manganello started as an 8-year-old inline skater from Crestview, Florida. Competing until age 13, Mia won numerous national championships in her age category. And then, Mia got hooked on speed skating. From 2003 to 2010, Mia competed on 4 junior world teams and was 3 times a junior national champion. In 2016, Mia won gold and silver medals at Long Track U.S. Nationals and Fall World Cup trials, enabling her to compete in the Winter Olympic trials, where she qualified for the 2018 Olympics in Korea. Mia took bronze, making her medal the first won by a U.S. woman speed skater since 2002. Please provide a warm welcome for Olympic medalist Mia Manganello.
Well, Lee pretty much just ruined my speech because that's exactly what I was going to tell you. So at this point, not too sure what to say. It's okay. It's all right. Kind of ruined things, but that's fine. But like the introduction says, I was 13 years old when I got the idea to become an Olympian. And my first obstacle was that I was from Florida and I needed to be in Salt Lake City. Luckily, I had parents as crazy as my dream was, and decided to encourage me and provide the opportunities I needed to succeed. So my dad and I packed up in a van, drove across the country to Salt Lake City, and I started my journey. It was my first time on the ice, and it was a learn to speed skate camp. I did it and absolutely fell in love. After the event, it was 2 days to get back to Florida. But after the event, I told my dad, I'm like, this is it. Like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm gonna get to the Olympics. This is dream, this is my way. And he's like, all right, well, call mom. Call mom, tell her right now, we're moving. Like, this is what you wanna do, we gotta go. And so I did, half joking, of course. But within the 2-day trip, we got home to Crestview, and Mom had the entire kitchen packed and half of the living room packed. And it was about a month later, and we had an RV at the time, and we packed up our life in that RV and drove across the country to chase this ridiculous dream that I had at 13 years old. From that moment on, the next 7 years, I kind of developed as an athlete and as a speed skater, starting from the very bottom, learning the basics, and then quickly progressing as a speed skater and being invited to the U.S. national team, and then further earning spots on the junior world teams and senior world teams. I competed in 2 Olympic trials, the second one being in 2010, which is kind of where that first part of my journey stopped. And I barely made the team. I was kind of an outside chance, and there were some misfortunes in my life at the moment that kind of drove me to not be able to mentally stay in the state that I needed to perform the best I could. So I was extremely disappointed in my results at that competition, and so at that moment I decided, I'm done. I'm burnt out at 19, and decided to step away. It was something that I believed was important. Grass was greener on the other side, of course, but I decided to step away, clear my mind. The speed skating became an obligation at that point. It was no longer a passion or a love that I was having waking me up every morning. It was just kind of what I did. So stepping away was a blessing in disguise, really. The 6 years away from the sport, I picked up cycling competitively, grew a huge love for that sport, and then in turn, it developed me into a person that I needed to be to finally accomplish my dream that I had when I was 13 years old. And so, and like he said, in 2015 was when I decided to come back, and I figured it's now or never. I saw some results of a recent race on the ice, and I was like, I can do this. Like, I am better than these girls, hands down. So I jumped in, and fortunate enough to have everything work out for me. And stepping back on the ice, I knew right away that that's where I was meant to be. But without this stepping away, you don't realize that. Kind of have to miss it again in order to, lose what you have in order to really believe and know that it's something that you need and you love. So yeah, I mean, I feel terrible because my story has already been told. But so from that point on, I trained hard and was able to accomplish the ultimate goal of becoming an Olympian. But one story that's a little unspoken is the team pursuit. So the team pursuit's what we earned the bronze medal in. But actually, when we made the selection process for the Olympic team, the United States did not have a spot to race in the Olympics in the team pursuit. Going into the Olympics, we were ranked 9th in the world, and it was top 8 that could compete. So we were technically first reserve. So if there was another country that wasn't able to participate, we would be up to race. So we are 2 weeks out from opening ceremonies, and we get a call that the Russians have been disqualified, and we now have a position in the team pursuit. Exciting, yes, great. But, thanks. But downside is we didn't anticipate racing, so we never prepared to race the team pursuit. Up to that point, we hadn't really trained for it. with our A team. There was 3 girls, Brittany Bowe, myself, and Heather Bergsma. And I mean, Heather lived in Holland, and Brittany, she had 3 events, individual events, that she had potentials to medal in at the Olympic Games. So for the team pursuit being kind of a toss-up, whether it's a medal or not, she chose to focus on her individual. Can't blame her. She's awesome. So we're now a week before race day in the team pursuit, and we have trained together once because everybody's focusing on their individual races. And we end up actually going to the line in the first round of the team pursuit, and it was our second time ever skating together. So going to the line, it was kind of a little blessing because we had no expectations on ourselves, no pressure, because we literally had no idea what we were capable of. But it did turn out that we were capable of quite a lot. So with the team pursuit event, there are 3 rounds. The first round, you have to go all out because you have to get top 4. Top 4 then move on to the medal rounds. So our goal was to get top 4. If we crossed that line and we saw a big 4 next to our name, it was basically winning the gold medal. And so we actually did just that. We crossed the line, looked up, threw our hands up, going crazy, because now we had the opportunity to race for the bronze medal, any medal. And then 2 days later was when the medal rounds began. And we were paired with the first seed team. Okay, so they were the fastest in the first round. Going into it, we're like, okay, we're not going to beat these guys. So we're just going to kind of take it a little easier in this round, conserve ourselves, and throw all our eggs into the bronze medal race. So that's exactly what we did, because the bronze medal race was an hour and a half after that first round. And so we did that. We ended up racing the Canadians for the bronze medal. I don't know if any of y'all seen it, watch it, Google it. It is not pretty. I about fell on the last corner, about killed myself if that would have been my fault. But yeah, it was a complete blur, that race. The girls I was racing are 2 of the fastest women in the world. So I was just struggling to keep up, and being the anchor, I had to bring it in strong. But yeah, I mean, my journey is, to me, it's my life, so it's an everyday occurrence. It's nothing special. But really, it's my theme is perseverance. Having a dream and staying on that track. Allowing yourself to trust yourself, trust your body. If you need to take a break, take a break. Like don't wake up and feel like you have to do this. Because, I mean, how you feel is you're going to perceive that in your sport. And, we say a happy skater is a fast skater. If you want that pizza, eat that pizza. But yeah, I don't know. I'm honored to be here, and I love this town, and I love all of you. Congratulations, and best of luck with your endeavors.
Thank you. Before you go,
What?
would you mind answering a couple questions there?
Sure.
What we'll do, just before Mia sits down, I want to see if we just have if anybody had any questions, maybe we'll take 1 or 2 questions. If you have anything you would like to ask Mia, we've got a microphone set up over here, and just see if you got a couple that we want to roll. Anybody? Mitzi, you got a question? Can somebody run the microphone back there?
I just wondered if you could share with us a little bit
It is a huge challenge, and I respect anybody that has done so. To me, these kids have achieved way more than I have. At 13, I decided to be homeschooled. I chose it. My parents did not. My mother was very much against it, the social butterfly. But for me, I worked it in around my sport, actually. I know that's probably not the correct answer, but for me, that's what worked. My passion for the sport was the most important thing for me. And so being able to be homeschooled, I could attend the training sessions that I needed to because I was on the team with adults, so they weren't worried about going to school. Yeah, I think it's extremely important. I see a lot of professional athletes struggle once their career ends and not really have anywhere to go. I think it's extremely important to have not a backup plan, but be realistic about a life plan. A sport is, you're lucky if a sport is a job. Very rarely does it happen. So it's very important to have your life plan. You're lucky to be able to do what you do sport-wise. But yeah, I hope that answers it, and it's okay.
Anybody else? I've got a quick question.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a quick question for Mia. In the Olympic event that you won the medal, I understand you were the anchor.
I was.
You almost fell.
Yeah.
And you're competing against the Canadians for that final medal. What was going through your mind? What were you thinking at that moment? I mean, I obviously I can't relate to us to that scenario. Thank you.
Yeah, so again, that race, hardest race in my life. We started out fast in that race. We knew we needed to get time in the bank, basically, because the Canadian team they didn't start as fast, but they were like a diesel engine, they could maintain for a long time. So we knew we needed to put some time in the bank. So we started fast, and a couple of things changed within it, and I ended up leading the last 3 laps of the race. It was supposed to be 2. Somehow it became 3. And so I had that mindset that when I went to the lead, I only have 2 to go. You can do which is basically, it's less than a minute left. And so in my mindset, I'm like, okay, you can do anything for a minute. Like, I'm just gonna go all out and get us across that line. And then I come around thinking I'm done, and there's 1 lap to go. And I'm blown. I can't feel my legs. I'm screaming behind me to my teammates, screaming, push, 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 because I've got nothing left. I got my hands on my legs. But we come around that last corner, and I knew we were slowing down. You can feel it, but my only thought was get across the line. Just get across the line, and I had slipped. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to be my fault. Just get across the line, get across the line. And yeah, luckily it all worked out. Oh, God, if it hadn't have, how terrible. Oh.
One more? Time for one more, maybe?
One more question.
One more.
Or 2 more questions.
I've always felt that being an Olympian and winning an Olympic medal is probably the greatest honor in sports, no matter what color it is. So I feel very proud for you and just you being here with us. Will we see you in 2022?
Oh, thank you. At this moment, I have a lot of personal life happening. So I'm taking 1 year at a time. 3.5 years out is a long way to kind of plan for. But for me, I feel like I work a little bit better. It's more fun, less pressure when I enjoy it and just think 1 year at a time. But it's definitely not in the horizon. It's a possibility.
At that level of competition, what did you do to kind of calm your nerves or adrenaline to stay focused?
So we have coaches to help us, obviously, up to that point. But we learn at a young age that repetition, similarities to the day, help you in high stress moments. So for us, we always thought, train like a race and race like it's training. When you show up to practice, you warm up the exact same way you would for a race. That way, when you get to a race, you're doing exactly what your body knows how to do. Your mind is exactly where it knows to be. And so you don't it helps to not get overwhelmed in the moment. And I know going into the Olympics, it was a huge deal, and a great point that the coaches made for us was that this is just another race. This is just another weekend time trial, that it's not the Olympic Games. They wouldn't allow us to get overwhelmed and excited, really, because everybody wants to kind of visit the different events and, see the Shaun Whites and Lindsey Vonns, But they made sure that we went back to the basics of, this is just a training day. Your body knows what to do. It's repetition, and staying focused, so. Cool.
Mia?
Thanks, guys.
Mia, I want to thank you. It's been a real pleasure. I want to say, this is kind of awkward with this mic, but I just want to say that, Mia, we are thrilled, honored to have you here today. And on behalf of a proud community and a proud country, I say congratulations on your recent marriage.
Yeah.
And your recent accomplishments. Thank you very much for being here tonight.
Thank you. Go Dogs.
All right, outstanding job, Mia. Congratulations once again. Continue to go forward and do great things. So we'll continue to recognize you in those efforts. So she might even win the professional award winner. We'll see how things go. So with that being said, so we have our second guest speaker with us tonight. Who follows Alabama football? We have any Alabama football fans in here? Okay. Roll Tide, a couple of them in here. Okay. We have any Bruner Middle School fans in here? No? A couple here and there? How about Fort Walton Beach Viking fans in here, right? There you go. Well, this is what you bred right here. This is what you bred right here, Fort Walton Beach Vikings. So, of course, Glenn grew up in the Fort Walton Beach area, born at Eglin Air Force Base, did a little travel. His father was in the military and all. But, he has quite a story to share with you folks. And the fact that, he, at a young age, of course, played high school, middle school football, high school football, college football, had success on the field. Let me tell you something, playing college football, that's a fast and hard game, and it's a very physical game. And then to play at the next level, the professional league, is quite an accomplishment. So I know that you had to work hard, know you had to do what you had to do. And with that being said, we're going to ask Glen Coffee to come up here and join us. He's going to talk about his book. Don't go, we've got to show a video first. But he's going to talk to you about his accomplishments, talk to you about his book. But we're going to roll this video. I'm going to say two more things, and we'll have Glen Coffee come up.
Born at Eglin Air Force Base, Glen Coffee Jr.'s family lived for a while in Saudi Arabia. The family then moved to Fort Walton Beach. Glen played football at the University of Alabama and was an offensive star for Coach Nick Saban. In 2009, Glen was drafted in the third round by the San Francisco 49ers. That year, Glen had 83 carries for 226 yards, 11 receptions, and 1 touchdown in his sole NFL season. Due to a spiritual calling, he retired from the NFL and joined the U.S. Army, where he spent 4 years serving his country. Today, Glen is an athletic support assistant to Coach Nick Saban at the University of Alabama. The All Sports Association is proud to introduce Glen Coffee Jr.
So Glenn and his dad wrote a book. It's called There's More to Life Than the Pursuit of Money. And when you realize that at a young age, that's a big deal. Because usually when you're young, you want to go out, get cut your teeth, make some good money, and then go on other things. But the book is a very inspiring book. I glanced through it earlier, And like I said, this is Glen Coffee Sr. right here, very proud of his son, done a lot of great things as well. So let's give him a hand. So he's been his right-hand supporter and all, so we appreciate you being here. But we're going to ask Glenn, I'm not going to steal his thunder. He's going to share with you some things about the book. But this is a true story of an NFL player who had the opportunity to go to a different direction, and that's the direction that the Lord wanted him to go. So with that being said, Glen Coffee Jr.
I felt like y'all could have found a better picture than that, man. I was going through some things back then. But no, honestly, it's a pleasure being here, and I just want to thank y'all for having me. Your life, at this present moment, how do you feel about it? Now think about it 10 years from now, 5 years from now, and 1 year from now. When I was coming up as a kid, all I wanted to do was run around and play. And then I realized that I was good at football. And so I said, okay, I want to play football. And then at about 6 or 7 years old, I decided I wanted to play in the NFL. And so my whole life was based on that one specific thing. All my eggs were in that one basket, playing in the NFL. And without realizing, that became my identity. There's a lot of athletes in here today, and what you have done is great, but don't let a singular thing become your identity, because you'll find out as you move on in life, you'll accomplish a task, you'll accomplish a goal, and you'll say, is that it? And then you'll say, well, if I get to the next goal, then I'll be good, I'll be cool. And you get to the next goal, and then you say, was that it? And then you keep going in this cycle, and then you wake up, and you're 45 years old, and you look back in your life, and you say, dang, I didn't live life. And that's what I went through. And in the past couple of years, the Lord has just blessed me to really realize that. And so I take every day as if it's my last. Sorry, I know that got kind of deep. I apologize. So as a 21-year-old, I sat contemplating life. It was spent in the pursuit of a single goal, make it to the NFL, like I said. The thought of money and fame was cool, but neither were my main motivation. In innocence and arrogance, I matter-of-factly viewed myself as no more than an athlete, no more than a football player. No amount of self-worth talk from my mother could change that fact, because the paradigm I saw was that the NFL was a pinnacle, and society pushed that into my head day after day, constantly. Being a pretty good athlete meant anything else was below me, beneath me, or so I thought at the time. So as a 21-year-old, I sat contemplating my life, and with my dream easily in reach, I sat lost. Lost because I decided to skip my final year at the University of Alabama and declare for the NFL draft. But something wasn't right. There was no excitement, there was no enthusiasm. I didn't care. Being on the verge of accomplishing a lifelong mission found me in a state of pure and utter numbness. I couldn't feel anything. To be honest, I had been struggling with the notion of playing football since my freshman year in college. But without it, what was I? At the time, I had no clue and no answers. Might as well get paid to play. On the surface, I hoped the money would help. Deep down, however, I doubted that it would. Now, if I may, I'd like to backtrack and talk about two major events that happened in my life that led me to this current point in time. The first was finding and accepting Christ into my life. So when I was coming up, I wouldn't say we was raised in the church. My mother, she would be like, all right, we're going to church this Sunday. And we'd be like, all right, cool. Not really cool, I'd be mad, but I'd be like, all right, I'm coming. So we go to church, I sit in the back, and I have my homies back there in the back aisle with me. We'd joke, we'd go to sleep, we'd talk about this and that. But for me, it was just church, And so when I got to college, my first year, I was a freshman. Well, obviously my first year. I was a freshman in college, and halfway through the season, I got a sports hernia. And I played through it, but I didn't have the season that I wanted to have. And so going into my sophomore year, I was hyped and ready, to do what I came to college to do. And then I got hurt. I was going out for a screen, which is kind of like a short pass, and then you run, right? So I went out for my screen, I turned to look at the quarterback, I got the ball, and as soon as I turned around, a defender hit my knee, and my leg was planted. And so, thank God it gave way at the end, at the last split second, but it did enough damage to where I missed my whole sophomore year. And so, I would walk around on crutches, right? And FCA, the fellowship, or Coach Kramer, the director of FCA, which is a Fellowship of Christian Athletes, he'd be like, Glenn, are you going to come to FCA? It met every Tuesday. And I'd be like, yeah, Coach, I'm coming. But I would never go. And he'd always ask me every week, you coming? I'd be like, yeah, I'm coming, never go. So one night, I was in the vicinity of FCA, and I was crutching around, and I thought to myself, let me just peek my head in the window and see what they got going on in there. So the window's right here, I crutch up to it, and I do like this, and I see like 30 or 40 girls in there, right? So I'm like, I think to myself, like, I think I can do FCA. And so I went to FCA, and in the process of chasing after girls, I found Christ. You know what I'm saying? I started to hear about Jesus, and it all started making sense. I would hear a verse, and it would make sense, and long story short, I just fell in love with Jesus Christ. And so before Jesus, football was number one. It was my number one priority in my life. And after I found Christ, football fell down to fourth or fifth. But when football was my number one, it meant that all my emotions, thoughts, and desires centered on the success or the failure of my athletic endeavors. And that is a recipe for depression. Without seeing it coming, Jesus became my top priority. And this, in turn, allowed me to play with a newfound tenacity. No longer was I concerned with making mistakes or not being good enough. All I could do was my best, and if my best didn't cut it, oh well. The second event that happened was a realization. And that realization is this: one day isn't here yet. After a dismal freshman year, I would always start to say, one day. One day I'll start and I'll be happy. One day I'll be all SEC and I'll be happy. One day I'll become a star and be more happy. One day I'll play in the NFL and be the happiest of the happiest. And each time I reached that goal, kind of what I was talking about earlier, it would never change me on the inside. I still felt the same emotions. I still had the same thoughts, and I still felt pretty much hopeless because my whole life was based on being in the NFL or being good at football, and I had accomplished that. And then I sat there and I didn't know where to go from there because I had put all my focus on that one thing. So I cared less and less about today. I care less and less about the here and the now. My entire existence had become one big challenge. Some days that challenge was faced with the head held high. Others, my head would be hanging low. Most were a little bit of everything in between. Regardless, that challenge would sit looming. I lived rehearsing the future, ignoring the present, and regretting the past. I forgot how to enjoy the average day. Some 10 years later, I've only recently begun to fully experience the present. And only in the last 3 or 4 years can I say that I'm content with how my life has played out. Those nights before the draft, and when I say the nights before the draft, I'm talking about the NFL draft. The nights before the draft, I'd sit and wonder about 1, 5, and 10 years into the future. Nothing planned out as I saw it. And on paper, it would seem as though my bad far outweighs my good. However, each failure turned into its own particular and peculiar piece of historical strength. Put simply, I learned, or I've tried to learn from my mistakes. In case you're wondering about my current future plans, I'll share them with you. My 1 year is to live in the same town as my daughter. The 5 is to have 2 years' worth in savings. And my 10 year is to own a self-sustaining, self-supporting farm. Do I still worry about the future? Yeah. But the difference is I have a better grasp of who I am, and who I am loves who I've become. So I'd like to leave you with a couple of lessons I've learned throughout my life. Instead of chasing happiness, seek to understand what it means to be content. Secondly, don't be afraid of who you truly are. And that's especially for you high schoolers and some of y'all in college. Like, you know who you are deep down, but there's so many other things that's telling you that that's not good enough, or you're not well-rounded enough, or you don't have the friends you should have. And to really understand who you are without going to Christ, you really got to be still and just sit down and say, who am I? You know, and really care less about what the world thinks about what you like or dislike. And then thirdly, stress isn't them, they, or it, it's you. Then Jesus called a little child to him, set him in the midst of them, and said, assuredly, I say to you, unless you are converted and become as little children, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever humbles himself as this little child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. When people die, you know, they say when you die, you can't take nothing with you, right? Well, then you have some people who say, but you can take your legacy. What about your legacy? I'm a very shy person. I grew up a nerd. I grew up reading books. I grew up gaming. One time I spent the night at my friend's house, and it was 4 of us there, and it was probably like 2 p.m. in the evening, or in the afternoon, and they all went out to play, and they was like, Glenn, come on. And I told my friend in his own house that I wasn't going out to play with them, that I wanted to play Pokemon on the Game Boy. Like, that's how much of a nerd I was. All right? I'm just athletic, and so I played football. I mean, I love football too, but yeah, sorry. But people always talk about a legacy, and I don't mind being Glen Coffee, the football player, Glen Coffee from Alabama, Glen Coffee this or that. I would hope that people would like me for who I am and not for what I've done. But when you talk about legacy, I always think to my daughter, think back to the people you have met in your life who have like a dad who's done this and done that, or uncle who's done this and done that, or an aunt or whatever. And those people, they kind of make somebody else's legacy their own, and then they miss out on their life. They miss out on their own legacy. My daughter already tells me how many times people say, I know your dad, and your dad is this and your dad is that. I don't want her growing up thinking that she has to chase after me or live under my shadow, because she has her own legacy to leave and to have and to do what with. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think it's great if you're a CEO of a company. I think it's great if you got a lot of money in the bank. I think it's great if you accomplish this and accomplish that. But at the end of the day, it really don't matter. And at the end of the day, if you can't just look somebody in the eyes and say hi and thank you, or it's a beautiful day outside, then all the other stuff don't matter. But thanks for having me, though.
Once again, we'll just open up the mic for if a few of you have questions you'd like to ask Glenn tonight before we close down. Anybody? Come on, we got some Bama fans here, right here.
How's it like working for Nick Saban? As long as you do what you're supposed to do, you're okay. But if he catches you doing something he doesn't want you doing, then he's going to let everybody in the area know that he's not happy. It's bad. It's bad. Yeah, he made me, the first time I got cussed out by him, I never got cussed out by him as a player, because I always tried to stay focused. But when I was on staff, the first time he cussed me out, he made me feel like I was 3 years old. Like, it was bad. Oh yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. He asked, how did I make the decision to go from the NFL to the military? Well, first of all, let me start by saying I never deployed. You know, I got in trouble in the military, so I thank you for saying that. But my military experience was another bump in the road for me to understand who I am. You know, and in the process of going through that bump, I became a better person. But as far as my decision and to join in the military, I just really got bored, man. people think I left football to go into the ministry or, like you say, to join the service, but really, when I quit football, I was under so much stress in my head to just be myself that it was football, and then after football, it was, all right, I'm just trying to be a person, you know? So my decision that ultimately led me into going into the military was just, I was able-bodied. There are people who do things that not everybody can do, and so that's simply why I joined. Yeah.
Anyway, please join me in giving another hand for Glen Coffee Brewing. Thank you. Yes, it was a great segue because I wanted to just let you know that we do have some cards there. If you want to meet our guest tonight, they've got some cards they could perhaps sign if they're up for it. Mia has got her bronze medal right here. That you can take a look at as well, and Glenn does have some books available if you're interested there. So with that, I want to just, before we close, I want to just do a couple things. One, first of all, I'd like to recognize our president-elect. I know you guys met Bernard already, but I want to ask Drew Espy to stand up so you guys can meet Drew. Drew will effectively have the reins after this weekend, so get ready. And so you have a speaker yet? All right. With that, I wanted to just go ahead and start welcoming up to the stage here, if we could, Pastor Onyeki, if you would please come on up. So again, when we're done here, we'll close up after Pastor Onyeki comes up. Did I get that right? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I had the notes written down here, sorry. Jacob Onyeki from the Grace Church. I got that right. Okay, well, if you would, please close us with an invocation, sir. Thank you.
If y'all would bow your heads with me. Lord God, we just want to say thank you for everything that you do for us on a daily basis. Thank you for bringing us all here, Lord, together to celebrate the accomplishments of these young men and women here that are playing sports. We just want to say thank you because it's you that gives us the ability to do what we do. And Lord, we pray that you help us to never forget that. Thank you for the speakers that came and shared their life and experiences with us, Lord. Help us to learn lessons from them, Lord, about contentment and, Lord, all that stuff. We just ask that you, guide us on a daily basis and let us know that our identity, Lord, at the end of the day is in you. We thank you, and we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, sir. Well, as you leave here tonight, just know, students, that we're proud of you. And you're welcome to come up and meet our guest tonight. Good night.